Good evening and welcome to Blueprint Explosive Exclusive. I'm Madhavdas G. Viewers, Air India continues to face multiple flight hiccups after the June 12th Ahmedabad plane crash. Several cancellations have been reported, some of them due to suspected technical issues. Both domestic and international flights have been affected, causing inconvenience to hundreds of passengers. Let's take a quick look at Air India flights which were either cancelled due to technical snags or faced other issues leading to delays. Now, this is, of course, the flights that we're talking about. We're talking about what has happened as far as the Air India flight AI 143. Now, this is the flight from Delhi to Paris that was cancelled, and the reason for the cancellation is a mandatory pre-flight checks which identified an issue, and the aircraft also developed a suspected hydraulic leak. The next flight we're talking about is the AI 159, and this is from Ahmedabad to Gatwick. This flight being cancelled as well. The reason we are told is the unavailability of aircraft due to airspace restrictions. The Air India flight to from San Francisco to Mumbai with a Kolkata stop was the other one that we are talking about. This is AI 180, and this is, of course, the reason that the passengers were deplaned in Kolkata is that there was a technical issue that was suspected in a routine check. AI 170 is the next flight that we're talking about. This is from London to Amritsar that was cancelled. The reason has not been specified in the case of this particular aircraft. And of course, the AI 142 Paris to Delhi also being cancelled. The reason here as well has not been specified. But let's quickly go across to Sabya, who's joining us for more on this. Sabya, it is of course a number of such flights that have in fact been curtailed due to various reasons. Several technical issues coming up as well. What does Air India have to say as far as these delays are concerned? Sabyasachi.
Well, see, Air India has put out a detailed response where they have said that some of the flights were cancelled because of certain disruption. There was errors, and other flights were disrupted because of weather condition and other issues. Now, regarding the explanation coming in from Air India, a very important meeting here at DGCA took place where the DGCA urgently had called the top executives of Air India and Air India Express to address this concern. Now, in this meeting, the message from the DGCA was very much clear. In fact, this meeting was called in looking at the disruption that has been happening at Air India because of multiple reasons and causing a lot of panic situation for the passengers. Now, after this meeting, our explanation was asked for from the executives of Air India as well as Air India Express. Now, Additionally, the discussion also had taken place on the catastrophic accident that had taken place. Now, the DGCA sources clearly the Air India that they have to provide all the details related to the accident and provide all the documents. In fact,
okay, stay with us. There's some more breaking news coming in at the moment. Sabyasachi, stay with us because an Indigo flight operating on the Muscat-Kochi-Delhi route made an emergency landing at Nagpur airport early on Tuesday morning after a bomb threat was reported. Now, according to the police, all passengers were safely deboarded following the emergency landing. Now, a thorough investigation has been launched by the airport security and bomb disposal teams is what we are told. Indigo is also putting out a statement saying that nothing suspicious was found. Also, in their statement, they said that they have received a security threat and that the flight landed safely at Nagpur airport and relevant authorities were immediately informed. So, Sabya, this is very significant. A security threat now in this case, it's not a technical issue, but nevertheless, not wanting to take any chances. In fact, there was a thorough security check that followed that led to further delays in the case of this flight as well of Indigo.
Well, that's right. See, within a matter of 10 days, this is the second time that a bomb scare has been found on an Indigo flight. The first one happened when the flight had taken off from Thailand, and within few minutes, again, it returned to Thailand because of a bomb scare as a message was found in the laboratory. Now, this time around, another bomb scare message was given to Indigo. Now, the message was sent to the airlines from outside stating that in this particular aircraft, there is a bomb, and looking at the precautionary precautionary measures. Indigo had immediately landed the flight at Nagpur, post which the passengers were deboarded. The bomb squad had reached. The aircraft was taken at the isolation bay, where the thorough checkup of the aircraft was done, along with the CISF bomb squad as well as the Indigo ground staff who were present on ground.
All right. And Sabyasachi, there's more breaking news coming in, and this is, of course, as far as the ongoing probe following the Ahmedabad plane crash is concerned. Few cancellations on multiple routes involving Air India. Now, we've seen the DGCA holding a meeting with senior officials of Air India. And DGCA sources have told Times Now that these instructions have been issued after the meeting. Training documentation that has to be submitted, detailed training records of pilots and dispatchers involved in the Dreamliner incident. Flight school directives have been issued to all flight schools to conduct strict compliance checks on training protocols and safety standards. Safety reinforcement has also been told that they must review and strengthen adherence to aviation safety best practices. Very significant, Sabyasachi, that all of these instructions are coming in. It is not just for the airlines, but also for flying schools who will have to now follow these directives.
Well, that's right. See, 4 important points that the DGCA has mentioned in this crucial meeting. Now, this meeting is extremely crucial because this would be the first meeting that had been taking place between the centre and the Air India officials. Now, the first point that the DGCA has raised, that the DGCA has sought details of the crash-related documents and details of the plane involved. Now, second most important is the training documentation, where the DGCA says that Air India must submit detailed training records of pilots and dispatchers involved in the Dreamliner accident. Now, the second point is flight school directives, where the DGCA had additionally said that it has instructed all flights training schools in India to conduct strict compliance checks on training protocol and safety standards. And the fourth point is safety reinformation, that the training schools must review and strengthen adherence to aviation safety best practices. Now, these are the 4 crucial points which the DGCA has mentioned to Air India as well as the other key partners.
All right, Sabyasachi, we'll have to leave it there. Very significantly, the government stepping in, the DGCA too stepping in, the regulator, of course, now quite concerned about the standards of safety and, of course, extensive checks that we've been seeing through the course of the day today. Thanks so much for all those quick updates there, Sabyasachi. Let's open it up and take it across to our guests. With us is James Healy-Pratt. He's an aviation partner at Keystone Law from London. We have Dr. Jason Knight, senior lecturer in fluid mechanics, joining us. Also with us is Captain Sanjay Karve, aviation expert. J.S. Rawat is a former Director General of the DGCA, joining us on the show. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us at the moment. Let me start with you. James Healy-Pratt, at the moment we're looking at a number of delays as far as various aircraft are concerned. Obviously, the regulators, the airlines, everyone's very concerned and certainly not wanting to take any chances. But the large number of delays that you see today, would you say that this is routine after an accident of the magnitude that we've seen take place last week?
I'm not particularly surprised by what's been happening for a number of reasons. Obviously, last week's 171 accident was a tragedy, and it was a jolt to everybody in the airline industry. And what we've seen is obviously the Indian regulator wanting to ensure that there's public confidence in the safety of air transport. And Air India is a very large national flag carrier, has a lot of aircraft, and there will be technical issues, there will be operational issues. And perhaps focusing on that a little bit too much, rather than getting back to what really happened to 171 and the evidence that's currently corroborated in the public domain about the potential causes.
Right. Mr. Rawat, you're somebody who's, actually been in that position as far as the DGCA is concerned. You've looked very closely at the issue of air safety. Would you say that this is routine after such a big accident that, from the flying schools to the airline, records being sought, all sorts of safety practices being put into place? What really is happening at the moment? Because, we're seeing top-level meetings also take place as far as the government is concerned, not just, of course, with the airline, but also within the government itself.
Yes, basically this kind of incident happened actually normally in the normal course of time. But nowadays, because of this particular accident, everybody's attention is on this kind of things. As far as the government's concerned, DGCA is concerned, government is concerned, government is taking whatever the instruction we have just read, that 4 or 5 instructions have been given to the airlines as well as to the flying training schools. That is to enhance the safety measures and to regain the public confidence. Yes, whatever the things are there, the DGCA is looking into it, and whatever the corrective measures will be taken to, if they find something during their audits and investigations, they find something, that action will be taken. It is just a measure to enhance the public confidence.
Right. Right. Dr. Jason Knight, if I can bring you in as well on this. At the moment, of course, it's too early to conclusively say what would have happened. But as somebody who has, looked at the facts that are surrounding us as far as the Air India Dreamliner unfortunate crash that we saw last week, are we any closer to understanding what really transpired? How did the two engines, fail at the same time? Was it something larger, perhaps an electrical or a mechanical failure? What is your analysis of what has transpired, Dr. Knight?
Yeah, so I don't think we're any closer to knowing the exact reason. There's lots of theories of what it could be. It does look highly likely a double engine failure, but as to what has caused that could be a number of factors. The Air Accident Investigation Board, they will be painstakingly going through the data from the black boxes to work out exactly what has happened, and they will need some time to do that. I know the relatives will be desperate for answers to know what's happened, but it's they will be looking at very carefully and working out exactly what's happened. So I don't think at this stage we're any closer to knowing for sure exactly what happened.
Right. And let me bring in Captain Karve as well. Captain Sanjay Karve, your analysis of what really is happening at this point of time, because, the number of delays and the kind of disruptions that we are seeing, at the end of the day, this creates a lot of uncertainty. And that's certainly something that the traveling public would not want to see. Of course, its safety is very important, but, how can we overcome this balance between safety measures and ensuring that things also, happen, or we go back to the situation as it existed in terms of flights, etc., which are plying as per the routine schedules?
One needs to understand that the flights which have been cancelled on the Air India, which is the Mumbai, Paris or other sectors, they are all on the Dreamliners. After the accident, DGCA has instituted additional checks and made it mandatory that unless and until these checks are carried out, the aircraft will not fly. This is for reasons of safety and to build passenger confidence. We have 34 aircraft in Air India's fleet of Dreamliners. Now, if you have to carry out those mandated checks on 34 of them, it is going to take time. You can't suddenly have aircraft flying. And be rest assured, in today's scenario, no government or no regulator is going to give a waiver to an airline to fly, saying that, okay, you can carry out these checks after 5 days or 10 days, because safety is there. Second issue, which I would like to point out, the way it is being projected, that DGCA has now come out with regulations. These regulations have already in existence for years. DGCA regulations are very clear on safety, training, maintenance of records, submission of records. They are just reiterating it. Okay, look, you need to follow this rigidly. It is not something which they have come out. The Indian regulator is very clear when it comes to rules and regulations, and we follow all ICAO diktats and the FAA diktats. What we need to understand here is we really have no clear understanding why there has been a loss of thrust. What we know from the video is the aircraft has practically used the entire length of runway to get airborne. Something has happened from B1 to getting unstuck because he's given a mayday call within few seconds after getting airborne. Now, what is that which has happened? Obviously, his takeoff settings were right, otherwise he would have got a warning. 787 has a wonderful system. It gives you takeoff configuration warning if it is not right. So he had selected the correct configuration. So it is between V1 and about 5 to 10 seconds after getting airborne, something has transpired. The runway is clear. There is no indication of a bird debris on the runway. So we really cannot say it is ingestion of bird. It could be anything. It is anyone's guess. But disruption of schedule is not necessarily because of defects. It is primarily because of inspections mandated by DGCA to be carried out. Other reason today is there is a lot of apprehension because of the companies involved, Boeing and GE. If you look at the broader picture, India has got a lot of aircraft coming in from Boeing. Similarly, India's LCA project is dependent on the GE engines. So I really don't know what is the impact of this inquiry that is going to have on the GE or the Boeing.
Okay.
Obviously,
I think that's a fair point. Let me take this across to some of our other panelists as well. James Healy-Pratt, your view of this, because it's not just, of course, the airline that's operating the aircraft, but the aircraft manufacturer themselves, Boeing as well as GE, that will have to play a very key role in this investigation, because if there is some kind of a technical loophole or lacunae, then that's something that this investigation is going to bring out, and that's perhaps something that the manufacturer then, and we don't know the real reason yet, but then they would have to incorporate, safety measures to ensure that such things don't happen again.
Well, Madhav, that's completely correct. As has been already explained, Boeing and GE and US safety authorities are helping the Indian AAIB in their safety investigation, as indeed are the UK AAIB. Now, if there is any indication of a problem with the Boeing aircraft, and that includes the engines and the subcomponents, then I would expect news to come out fairly quickly after they've decoded both black boxes for a potential emergency safety bulletin or possibly even grounding of the 787, because obviously that affects the 787 fleet worldwide, but only after careful analysis of both black boxes. To my knowledge, only one black box has been recovered. I've never seen confirmation that the second black box has been recovered.
Well, it was recovered. Actually, we got that confirmation day before yesterday that the second black box was also recovered. That news was also put out as well right here on Times Now, James.
Good. No, well, that's hopeful. It's good because, as I've said on your show before, the black boxes will provide 90 to 95% of the relevant evidence.
Right. Right. And Dr. Jason Knight, if we can bring you in on this, because, the fact is that the Dreamliner is a relatively newer aircraft, as compared to several of those that are in operation. And it's a completely new way of, approaching aircraft design, because there's a lot more electrical, we understand, that's replaced hydraulic. As we've been discussing, the materials used are quite different. Can you tell us why this investigation in that sense will be quite seminal? Because it's for the first time that this kind of an investigation is happening as far as the Dreamliner is concerned, isn't it?
Yes, I mean the Dreamliner has a very good safety record up until now. So it's still unclear what has happened. Like you say, there's lots of new systems, new materials on the aircraft. The Accident Investigation Board will be going through every single component and leaving no stone unturned to find out exactly what has happened. It could be due to one of these new systems, but I wouldn't suspect it to be that. I would suspect it to be something else. But they will look at every detail to find out exactly why this has happened and to make sure it doesn't happen again.
So, in fact, there's some breaking news coming in. This is the latest update coming in. A high-level meeting on civil aviation security was held on 17th of June. That's today. If you can quickly put out that information coming in, chaired by Union Home Secretary Govind Mohan, attended by the Civil Aviation Secretary, DGCA officials and others to review the Ahmedabad air crash. Sabya's back with us. Sabya, take us through what exactly was discussed at this meeting. What are your sources telling you?
See, the agenda of the meeting was focusing on the aviation security as well as how to overcome it in the near future, and also the discussion taking place on the disruption of the flights that is continuously coming in. Several international flights are getting cancelled and delayed because of technical error, and the main focus of the meeting was to make sure that the accident that has taken place in Ahmedabad, in the future no such accident takes place, and how to strengthen and make sure that the compliance takes place from the airlines. That is a very important point, because in the investigation there has been several compliance issues that has come out in front of the DGCA, and that was also put across to the Home Secretary. So overall the meeting focused on the aviation security and how to make sure that the security lapses are overhauled, as well as make sure that such accidents are not repeated in the near future.
All right, thanks so much for that quick update there, Sabyasachi. Let's quickly take that question across to Mr. J.S. Rawat. Yesterday we saw, Mr. Rawat, how the investigators had met. Today we are seeing meetings take place at the level of the Home Secretary, Civil Aviation Secretary, DGCA officials as well, and a separate meeting between the airlines as well and DGCA. The big question is that now what really will be the focus of the government? Of course, the investigation is one part of it, but also within the government itself, what else can be done to ensure that we do not see the repeat of what we have seen in Ahmedabad? Mr. Rawat.
What we are looking at the cause of, first we have to look at the cause of accident. What we are doing so far for last 4 or 5 days, the speculation, and most of the theories and speculation are based on the picture of the aircraft when it has been shown taking off from the runway and then gradually sinking after that, after attaining the height of 600 feet. So that is basically most of the experts are giving the theory on that. And secondly, that is there a possibility of sabotage, which has to be seen from the security point of view, but that has to be cleared after the investigation, whether there was the actual sabotage and the possibility of the sabotage is there or not. So investigate that whatever the security agencies will be there, they will be looking into that aspect, mostly from the security point of view. If any lapse has occurred in the security system or any in future it can take place. So that is the security, another aspect. One is that technical investigation will be done by the AIB, which is Investigation Board, which are doing the technical investigation in the matter.
Right. And also information coming in that, in fact, the Air India engineering chief has been summoned by the DGCA to discuss the technical issues that could have possibly been there with the Boeing 787 aircraft. And Captain Karve, do you think that this is part of the routine procedure, or do you see this as being something out of the ordinary?
No, this is a part of a routine procedure. When you have a fatal accident where there is a total hull loss, the DGCA as a regulator would definitely like to ascertain itself and satisfy itself that the laid down procedures by the regulator are being followed, and the departmental head is obviously the one who is going to answer questions. So this is a very routine thing. It does not mean that Air India has had a lapse or the technical or maintenance department has faltered somewhere. It is just a standard procedure. Like if there's an incident with the pilot, the chief pilot or the director of operations is called, because he is the one who's promulgating things. He is the one who's supposed to monitor things and put in orders. So let us not read too much into it. It is the job of the DGCA to talk to all departmental heads. They would eventually be calling even the chief of the flight safety, operations, and they would be talking to them.
All right, we'll have to leave it there. In fact, Captain Sanjay Karve, Mr. J.S. Rawat, James Healy Pratt and Dr. Jason Knight, I'd like to thank all of you for joining us and sharing with us your perspective on what has transpired and what we're seeing play out, in fact, before our eyes at the moment. Thank you so much for joining us indeed.